Brackett. I'm at 8286 Butler Greenwood Drive. I want to go back to something Dan mentioned right at the beginning about harmony. You know, this community is still fairly young, and yet we've been able to accomplish quite a bit. What I have a question for each of you, and I need to formulate the question. I think it's important that we have an open forum, that any homeowner can ask a question, maybe it'd be online on the website. Would each of you support having that kind of open forum within the HOA? And would you be committed to answering those concerns? Because the way things have been going, we're getting information which is partial information half the time. I mean, for example, people have complained that we're using mulch from Don's company. But how many people here know that every single year there's been competitive bids, and every single year her company's been the lowest bidder? And yet that comes back through other channels as though there's no transparency. If this is controlled, there must be one central information point. You can't get a group of homeowners passing information around that's incomplete. So, would you support the idea of having that open forum within the HOA, controlled by the board, not control what goes into it, but completely open to anybody? And would you be committed to responding to questions that are raised in that kind of forum?
Absolutely.
Let's start down here and work our way.
Yes. Simple. Yes.
Yes, but you're going to have to hire someone. How much do you want to spend? You just can't do it with volunteers.
You know, I agree with Bob. You know, you're talking about something that is very much time consuming. So yeah, it's an excellent idea, and yes, people should be able to say and ask questions, but definitely we would need someone to do that.
I agree, it is an excellent idea. It's always hard to find volunteers. I mean, somebody posed a question on, you know, how many committees have some of these candidates have been on, and some of them have just come out of the woodwork in the last, you know, month. I've never seen half those people. I don't know any of them, and I've been part of this community since the beginning. You know, I walked on this land when there was just dirt, and I don't know these people. You know, they've never joined the committee, and it's really important to join the committee and to be involved, you know. So I believe in transparency. I believe in adding other videos to our website. We have just found, Anita just found that it's possible, we can do it. But these are things that we are evolving, we are growing, we're not perfect. The website had to start somewhere. Look how far it's gone. You know, I am definitely open for progress. I've always had it.
Matt? Same thing. It's, you know, again, there's trying to be fiscally responsible. We've had people like Anita that's on the board and another homeowner that did all the website stuff out of their generosity without charging the board or charging the HOA. You know, I've questioned why not just pay somebody. But again, if we could get it done less expensively, but you know, again, there's that out there that there's no transparency, but if you are at the meetings and if you do come, I am all for putting the bids online, putting everything, so that way the people, because that's been a big complaint. I can't get the meetings, I can't get to the board, and I need to see what's going on, and I just can't, I don't have the time. So I'm all for that. It's just, again, it's a developing thing. It's been going on, trying to get it without spending a fortune on upgrading the website. And I've been one of the ones to a fault that have responded, and usually, and I regret it, you know, respond to some of the emails and things that have gone around and try to answer questions and just to get beat up for it. So I mean, but I am willing to answer questions. It's just, again, I've been doing this for 4 years, and there's always somebody that's going to kick you, no matter what you say. You try to answer their question, and they just kick you anyway. So, but I'm definitely always been trying to answer questions and have a dialogue with everybody. You know, I've been doing it for years. Yeah.
Dan?
Sorry, the answer is yes, and the bottom line is that, for example, if we were going to spend $25,000 on a park, and we went out and found a web hosting company that would broadcast our meetings and do live question and answer, receive live questions, comments, and that was 10,000, I'd spend 15,000 on the park. And I'd take the 10 and I'd hire the company. Because you want harmony in this place, you gotta get people participating. I'm excited about the people that are showing up here. This is a lot more than I expected. That's what this is about. It's about putting signs out early for the meeting. It's about, you know, putting the things on the website. It's getting people access. That's really important. So I would say yes.
But it's also important not to have cross currents within the community. If there's one source of information.
I agree. And with that transparency, the source will be the board, not the owners. It'll be the board. And that's you have to understand. It may not be perfect, but that's got to be the goal. The information has to come from the board and through the meeting. So
I just like to say too, we went with the cheapest playgrounds we could get that were in compliance. In compliance with insurance. We went with the cheapest ones we could get.
Okay, Cass?
One of the main things I think is very important is to get every homeowner involved, because the more we get involved, the more we're going to make it better, the more we're going to give our suggestions, the more input we're going to have, the better bids that we're going to get out there, the more talent we're going to get involved in our community. And I'm all for creating our own website, and if it's Palm Beach Plantation HOA.com or .org, whatever you want to be, I'm all about that. And I'm not in favor of having another organization own our website. I'm very much against that. We don't own our website currently. It's run by First Service. We need to own our own. We need control over that. I think it's the board's determination to make sure all of our organizing and official documents are uploaded for current homeowners. Once you start uploading these, once you put the bids out there, once you get this information back and people can see it, there is no conversation about what you saw, what you didn't see, what you know, what you don't know. It's right there in front of you. The problem I'm having now is you can't see anything. And when you finally get to it, it's so old, and it's not really presented in a very transparent manner. So I'm all about it.
Brett?
Bob, it is my experience, quote unquote question. Most of the time, they are suggestions, they are criticisms, they are humanitarian putting you down. We are board members trying to serve this community. We don't come here to upset anybody. So we have heard like the board members and the bidders are all against the homeowner. We heard all these things. So let it be a question. Mark of question should be a question. And it doesn't take a public speaker to state a question. Okay? So another thing is, that's why there is no harmony, because they are not questions, they are suggestions, they are complaints. Now we have a proper way. If you have a complaint, you should email it to the manager and get it in a right perspective. Okay? People don't want to do it in a most methodical way to express their complaints and concern, and they come to the meeting, and that's why we have a brawl at the meeting, and nothing gets done. Now, transparency. We send the surveys, we try to take the opinion of the people on so many issues, and the survey comes back with a 80%. You think if you put everything on a web, you're gonna get more people responding from the web? Go ahead, try it. You know, I'm for transparency, but what we lack in a transparency? We put it on a website for the survey. Okay? What is the result? The results, only 100 people respond. So how can you make a decision on 100% or 100 people responding? And then people complain about transparency. People don't want to come to the meeting, they don't want to respond to the survey, and then they complain. So this is a complaint, not a question. Okay?
Yeah, I think not the last.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was one of my hot topics that I wanted to add. I'm not an IT person, so I can't do it, but I know it's not expensive. So
Yeah, and really, the central issue here is having one source of information for the community, so that we don't have cross currents.
Okay, I said last one, we've taken 2 more. Hold on, I'm gonna limit it. This gentleman and this lady over here.
I'm Ravi Saraswat from 861 Butler Green Road. My question is more adding up to what Rich was mentioning. You know, there are times people in the neighborhood, they might have companies and their own businesses. They might give competitive bid with respect to all the contracts we are giving out to the vendor. Given the situation, I heard advancement was giving better rates than anybody else. Now, there are so many emails flying out saying that they're taking advantage, going in the wrong direction and all those. My take on that is generally people do business with known people, because they trust, dealing with them, more, plus they can hold them accountable. Being said, I'm not saying it has to be given to only known people. As long as we set clear expectation and the consequences when we put out any code, when we expect a code, we set these guidelines on what we expect, what are the consequences if they don't meet that certain deadline or the expectation, kick them out and things like that. If we have those things and keep it, the bid itself for a month or so, even there, so get the quotes not only from the known people, also from external. So that way it becomes more competitive. Also, you are entertaining people who are in the.
Do you have a question?
Yes. My question is, how many of the candidates here are for, accepting any course in the future if it comes from one of the homeowner or their own companies? It's a question for all of them.
I have no problem with the bids in line, no problem. If we know, like, there's been questions about the pressure washing company, and we've had good luck with them. Their quotes were great in line, in fact, not cheaper. And so, we tried to bid out another one on Greenwood Manor. We had to go back and redo it because they didn't do a good job. So I have no problem using somebody, especially, like I said, like we talked about, advanced mulch. We lost a good contract due to the rhetoric that was false. We're now paying more money every time we do the mulch because of false rhetoric. They were charging us less money, and now it's cost us anywhere from $2,000 to $7,000 each time we do the mulch because of false information going around in back channels. And that's costing the community, that one thing alone has cost us anywhere from $4,000 to $14,000 a year, every year.
My answer to that would be, it's a business decision. So you go out to market, you get bids from people. If they live here, that's fine. If they don't live here, that's fine too. But what's important is the person has been in business and has been doing that for a long time, that they're licensed to do it if it requires a license, that they're insured, that all the stuff checks out, that you get the references and you call the references. I mean, somebody got to be in charge of doing that.
That's manager.
And that's what's important. So that's what I would make sure is done.
Does any candidate?
And one last thing, I'm sorry. If it's somebody on the board or somebody that's involved in a committee, I think that has to be disclosed and it has to be put out there. And if it's a concern, then we need to make sure that there's enough of a period for people to have input before that happens. Because that's where I think a lot of the back and forth came out, is that there was concern about whether people are involved or not. We just need to have time to vet those issues and make sure it's out there. And if it's out there on the web and everything, then it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, the young lady has been patiently waiting over here.
Not that patient.
Very simple.
My name is Harry Back, and I'm Butler Greenwood. And what I'd like to say is, yes, we have a lot of drama here, and it's a shame. And a lot of it is because of this gentleman who walks around, who feels the need for a camera on his head to videotape everything that he sees. Now, I'm telling you right now, I'm not agreeing to be on videotape. That said, I want to tell you that this board, this current board that we have, is excellent, and it's a shame that a minority person in our community is causing such drama in our community, and it's terrible. It's awful.
Question?
And I have a question.
Okay.
And based on that, what I want to tell you is that we elect a board to represent us. Because we all can't make that decision, we all can't be there to make the decisions. We hire a community a management company to manage it, and we have a board who's going to make those decisions. When we vote on a board member, we vote on them by their past, their history. What you do in your history, we look at their resume, and we say, what was your past to be qualified for this? And in addition to that, who is the company that you keep? So based on that, my question is back directed at Ms. Sharman, that you stated that you had bankruptcy and everybody deserves another chance, and I agree with you. But if you could not manage $1.5 million, what makes you qualified, in lieu of that statement that you mentioned before, qualified to manage our $2 million budget, be a representative, and be a representative of us?
We're not asking questions anymore, sir.
I asked
Well,
We're getting rhetoric with
Okay,
these things
I don't think there's a real answer to that, but let me just say this, because we kind of touched on the election and the meeting next week. Let me say this, for those of you who are going to have multiple proxies, I'm asking that you come to next week's meeting at least a half hour early so we can process the proxies. And we're going to have 2 sign-in tables up front, and then the proxies will be signed in over here, so that the meeting, I think this was actually handled in a pretty civil manner. It's my goal to try to handle the annual meeting in a civil manner. I totally agree, getting people, communicating and getting everybody on the right page, the correct information. But it's much easier to disseminate the correct information with civility by everyone. I'd like to thank everybody tonight, and we'll see everybody next Wednesday.
Real quick, I'd like to just say something. As we look forward to the future for the people that are going to represent this community, I'd like to take a moment and look to the past for someone who represented this community and did a great job going on.
Full intention that Dawn gets tackled for her swans.
Will. Good job.
How'd you do?
Huh? Good job. Hey. Good job.
Just call him. I can't do it.
Where's Will at? Hey, I thought you were leaving.
No, I lost my temper.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. What? Oh, I'm sorry. You lost your temper?
2 questions.
Listen. I got you. Hey.
Can't control this meeting.
Hey.
Screw.
Hey.